ज्ञानञ्जना शलाकया Taksharamilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jita Parakamalam Sri Gurum Vaisnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Ladita Shri Visakanditam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Pranamami Hare Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
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 Om Sarabhyaya Namaha
Om Surabhyaya Namaha
Om Sarabhyaya Namaha
Om Surabhyaya Namaha
Om Sarabhyaya Namaha
Om Surabhyaya Namaha
Kam karoti vasaram tvam gangayate girim yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Janataranam Yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Janataranam Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
If you can check some message or something. Message?
Yes.
So, Hare Krishna to everyone and welcome to our evening program. I thought I would share the source of this Om Sarabhyaya Namaha mantra that we are chanting. And to highlight how in many different places in our Vedic literatures the Mother Surabhi is mentioned, and for so many different reasons we are meant to give her the attention, protection, and care that she deserves. I also, since today actually is my last day here in the Bay Area, I've been here for the last 6 or 7 days. Made some new friends, met some old friends. And it's been a very wonderful experience, especially seeing different people, devotees, and newcomers as well, coming to the Sri Surabhi Gokshetra to take darshan, to take up, probably for the first time in their lives, cow cuddling. uh, and in this way, anyone who comes for whatever purpose it may be gets actually immense benefits. So this is one of the, there are many references in our Shastra regarding Mother Cow, specifically regarding Mother Sarabhi. So with your kind permission, I will read these few verses. This is from the 47th chapter. You can look it up later on. 47th chapter of the section called Prakriti Kanda of the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. So it's authorized source here. And it is a conversation of none other than our famous Narada Muni, in a conversation on Mother Surabhi. It's a whole chapter, actually, the whole chapter 47, not maybe 15, 20 verses. The chapter describes the birth of Surabhi in Goloka Vrindavan. So I'll just read the Sanskrit and then immediately the text. Pujam chakara bhagavan surabhyascha puramune tato babhuva tat puja trishu lokeshu durlabha. Translation, this is text 15. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Sri Krishna, first worshipped Surabhi in Goloka long back, and from then on, the rare worship of the Surabhi began in the whole creation. Rare worship. Text 14. Dipandita Paradine Sri Krishnasya Naya Bhave Babhuva Surabhi Puja Dharma Vakraditi Srutam. Translation. By the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Sri Krishna, the worship of Surabhi on the next day of Deepavali festival commenced in the whole world. So there's a specific time when this worship actually began, the day after the Diwali. So this is Narada speaking, Narada Muni. I heard this from the mouth of Jamaraj. And Jamaraj is an authority. Text 15. Dhyanam stotram mulamantram yadyat puja vidhi kramam viduktam cha mahabhaga nibodha katayamite. Translation. I shall now tell you the means to meditate, glorify, chant the mantra and method of worshipping Surabhi, all of which is told in the sacred Vedas. Text 16 is where we find the mantra. Om Surabhya Nama Iti Mantro Yamatu Sadaksharaha Siddho Laksha Tate Naivam Bhaktanam Kalkapadayaha. Om Surabhyaya Namaha is the mantra, which is 6th letter, meaning my respectful obeisances to Surabhi. Chanting this mantra 1,00,000 times bestows all achievements and fulfills all desires of devotees of the Supreme Lord. Text 17. Stitam dhyanam yayurvede pujanam sad ridim vididam chaiva muktidam sarvakamadam. Translation. This worship and remembrance and worship of Surabhi is told in Yajurveda, and it can bestow success, prosperity, and liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Text 18. Lakshmi Swarupam Paramam Radha Sahasarim Param Gavam Adista Tridevim Gavamatyam Gavam Rasum. Translation. Mother Surabhi is none different from Lakshmi Devi. She is personal associate and most dear to Srimati Radharani. Mother Surabhi is the presiding deity and the mother of all the cows. Jai Mother Surabhi ki. So this is the series of texts from 13 to 18. Brahma Vaigastha Purana 247. So, whatever we do in Krishna consciousness, we do because it is authorized in the Shastra. And it is given in the Shastra so that we can learn to live our lives in such a way that ultimately we can reach the lotus feet of the Lord. We all hear about and we all know of Goloka Vrindavan in the spiritual world. This is the destination for all of us. That planet, foremost of all planets in the spiritual world, where Krishna eternally resides with his unlimited numbers of Surabhi cows, Kamadina. And for us to actually become qualified to one day return to that eternal abode, the recommended process is given in so many places in the Shastra. Means we have to also learn to live with cows, to worship cows, to use the various products of cows, to understand actually how humanity cannot be properly sustained without the presence of Mother Cow. She is very central in the Vedic culture, and therefore it is mentioned actually in the Kautilya Arthashastra, which is describing the various qualities of a king. Vedic culture is based on the very scientific system of monarchy where a young prince would be spending many years in uh, receiving such training. So it mentions in that particular work of Chanakya Pandit, that every day the king, before going to the assembly, he takes darshan of the cows. Uh, some years back, I was visiting one of our devotees in Bangkok, and you know that Thailand, Cambodia, they still are referred to as kingdom, the kingdom of Cambodia, the kingdom of Thailand. They used to be the kingdom of Nepal. Monarchy is no longer existing. So this devotee, who is my godbrother, was living close to the palace where the king was residing. And within the palace, within the walls of the palace, there were cows. Cows are meant to be maintained and protected, especially by personalities like kings, brahmanas, I mean, by all the members within society. So it means that actually, the more we will be successful in reintroducing Mother Cow, Mother Surabhi, in our daily lives, either by visiting, as we are getting an opportunity here in the Bay Area, visiting actual Goshala of these very beautiful deer cows, then the more we see this happening, the more we become involved in making this happen, then we will begin to understand that Vedic culture slowly, gradually is being reintroduced. We cannot fully introduce a Vedic culture without the presence of Mother Cow. Without our direct involvement, without understanding actually, because that is the mood and the mentality of the residents of vrindavan. For them, it is totally inconceivable that they can live without cows. And the great misfortune today in our villages in India and whatever other villages may be there. I mean, here in North America, practically you don't find villages. You know, majority of the population are living in towns and cities. So it is very deplorable, and it has reached an extremely critical point as well. And I can speak from personal experience, having myself gone to hundreds of villages in India, that the cow population is every day decreasing to the point where in many villages, one cannot even find the presence of one bull. It is that critical. Whereas previously, not that long ago, actually, in practically most villages, there used to be hundreds, if not thousands, of cows, isn't it? So this is an indicator that can help us understand our present social condition in the world today. The presence of cows, how we are dealing and caring for the cows, because in most villages that I have visited, cows are tied to a post and they have maybe 3 foot rope. Means they can't move. They can't move around. Although there's so much of land, but all of that land is used for cash crops. We have forgotten that actually majority of our land is meant for the cows. Because to feed ourselves, as Krishna has arranged, the natural system is that one, Prabhupada gave us the formula. 1 or 2 acres of land and 1 or 2 cows. Actually, he said 1 cow, 1 acre of land to meet our basic necessities of life. So we should know that the more we are deviating from the established God-given system, as described in our Vedic literatures, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam, then it means that we are ourselves contributing to the degradation of modern of society. So if we want to actually reverse this trend, which is very destructive, Srila Prabhupada was very strong in his words, explaining how modern civilization is a killing civilization, isn't it? Very violent civilization, and therefore so many different negative reactions are there. And of all the people on the planet, it is those who have access to this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why it's so important, not only that we have these literatures in our homes, but that we actually read them on a regular basis to understand what our Vaishnavacharyas are trying to convey to us. And it is the responsibility of each and every one of us to actually understand very clearly this important aspect of the Krishna consciousness movement. Prabhupada spoke about this many, many times, and therefore it remains a very important aspect of our mission. And I'm of course very happy that very tangible steps have been taken here in the Bay Area. Many of you present here are directly involved, and I want to encourage all of you to pool your efforts together in different ways so that more individuals can be attracted and involved, because unless we reintroduce what we call cow culture, Vedic culture is cow culture. We cannot have Vedic culture without the presence of cows. So that is my humble prayer and request. I was just sharing a little earlier a short clip of some of our young devotee, young boys actually in their teenage years, who have been trained. This is in Sweden. I mean, Sweden is quite far. Sweden is quite far physically, geographically, and also in terms of culture. But because of the presence of some of our devotees who are understanding the importance of training oxen, for example. So this particular community been established for probably over 30 years. And in the last couple of years, especially, because they have maybe some 100 or so, possibly more acres of land. A lot of that is forest land also. We have many properties actually in different countries that have very large acreage, including simply agriculture as well as forest. So they were sharing how young boys have been trained. They had just recently harvested or cut the hay, and they were by using bullock cart pulled by trained oxen. They're not more than 16, 17 years old. It's very inspiring. I think I've mentioned this in the last few days, how in order for this to happen, there needs to be a concerted effort. We need to provide, I would say, both training and education to as many people as possible. And this can best be done through systematic and organized educational systems that Prabhupada spoke about as well. So this being our last, at least my last day here, again, I want to thank all of you for being connected and involved in different ways. And we will be looking forward for more developments taking place. Definitely 25 cows on 5 acres of land is not at all the ideal. There should be like for that number of cows, a much larger piece of land is needed. So some efforts are being made in that respect, in whatever way. And if you can assist in helping that become a reality, that will be very helpful. So we don't want our program to go on very late this evening because I have to leave very early. We can take a few minutes if there's any comments or questions on things related to what we have spoken in the last few days. Yes, since the mic has come in your hands, whether it works.
Hare Krishna.
It works. My God, your mic is better than mine. Yeah, it's okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much for your wonderful association for the last several days. So I have a question which is very doubting to me. When Lord Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was preaching in Navadip, so when Nityananda Prabhu came to one place, there was the Muslim king or the Zamidar. He, before the Navaratri, the Durga Puja, and I think he killed a bull, and then in that mandap he killed a bull and then he ate for himself. And then Nityananda Prabhu came and then he was saying he was purifying Nityananda Prabhu's place because he said Nityananda Prabhu said that. So the point is, what steps Nityananda Prabhu took in order to do cow and bull protection when the personality, the king or Damodar was killing a bull within the domain of Gauranga and Nityananda. So, and what is our, what we should take from their activities for cow and bull protection? So, could you give some insight?
The most important activity that we can take up, which is the recommended process and activity to actually reverse whatever adharmic activities are ongoing, and there's a lot of adharmic activities, as we know, ongoing all over the world, especially in Western countries, but it's all pervading. So what is most purifying is the chanting of the holy name, isn't it? So Nityananda Prabhu was especially entrusted the responsibility of Bengal. He was ordered, as we know, by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not to leave Bengal. Of course, it was very difficult for him to follow that instruction because he wanted to have a personal association of Lord Chaitanya, and he would also go to Jagannath Puri along with other devotees. So I don't recall the specifics of that particular lila or pastime, but the chanting of the holy name is the recommended process. So in all of our activities, in all of our events, this is what we do, this is what we should be doing. And generally, when a place becomes contaminated by such kind of activities, because cow is pure, and we know how, so we generally clean such a place with cow dung, and this is the standard process. So the chanting of the holy name is pure, purifies the atmosphere. Cow dung, and well, that's why whenever there is housewarming ceremony, the cow is first entering the house, isn't it? Because the house, the presence of cow, immediately purifies the atmosphere. I'm not aware of other details that might have been taken in that particular pastime, but we should know that these are two very powerful means by which we can purify ourselves and purify the whole atmosphere as well. The more we have devotees who are conscious of the importance of both the holy name and the presence of cows, both actually are connected with our two levels. We discussed about the two levels of dharma, spiritual swadharma and material swadharma. So we need to become expert as devotees in introducing these two levels of dharma. If we truly take up, take shelter of the holy name, then Krishna, who is fully present, who is non-different than his holy name, he will teach us, he will instruct us, he will inspire us how we can, in many different ways, in practical ways, introduce, reintroduce, revive our Vedic culture, and that cannot happen without reintroducing the presence of cows and how they are meant to benefit the whole of society in so many different ways. So I would think that when such kind of incident happened, they definitely, the devotees must have cleaned that place with cow dung and chanted. Those are two very powerful methods. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you for sharing all this wealth of knowledge over the past few days with us.
Mm.
I have a question on Varnashram education.
Yes.
It's different than the modern education that we are going through and our kids are going through.
Thank God.
What practical steps could we take living here in cities in the middle of the modern education race to introduce that to our children?
Yes. We can do a number of things. Part, not only part, I would say to a large extent, we need, as devotees, we need to understand how real education is introducing individuals actually to the proper knowledge and understanding of Krishna consciousness. That is actually the highest education. And therefore, it's not an easy situation because we're totally, the lifestyle, modern day lifestyle is totally different and alien actually to what the Vedic culture is advocating in terms of agrarian lifestyle. Actual education, we discussed about this briefly the other day. Vedic education is, see, we need to know what is the norm in terms of Vedic education, and to whatever extent that we can, as families, as individuals, as communities, we should endeavor to come as close as possible or introduce some facets, some aspects of that original Vedic education. Most of us actually are not understanding what is Vedic education, isn't it? And to a large extent, I would say, unless and until we reintroduce agrarian lifestyle, we will not know, for example, that one of the major aspects of traditional, what we call non-formal education, has to do with training young boys, especially in looking after both calves and cows. Now, this is practically impossible to do now. So the point is that, okay, because there is a Goshala here, at least parents of our children should take advantage of the presence of this Goshala to introduce their family members, especially their children, to this, to why cows are so important. And one of the ways, for example, is, of course, everything takes some time. This is still a relatively new project. We were just having some discussion before our meeting just now on how to find various innovative ways to engage both adults and children. In the UK, for example, they have programs for schools where teachers bring the whole class to the Bhaktivedanta manor, and they are shown the Goshala. So many things are explained to them, and then they go on a ride with a large bullock cart. It's not actually a bullock cart as we conceive it, but it's a big cart pulled by two large oxen, and it's quite big. It can seat about 10 or 15 students, let's say. So in other words, our devotees, those who are parents especially, number one, they need to know what is the Vedic norm in terms of education. That we can read by, we can understand by reading rather, Prabhupada's books. There is formal and non-formal education. And the formal education, of course, is Gurukul. Now, a number of devotee parents in India are, even though they are for the majority living in the cities, are introducing various aspects of Gurukula for their children. For example, in Pune and Bangalore, I know specific activities, specific initiatives taken up by parents to inculcate in their children what Vedic culture within a Gurukul setting is teaching. So this is especially, I would say, the responsibility of those who are more like Brahmanically inclined amongst our devotees to study, to understand, more deeply what is Vedic education in terms of formal education, which is Gurukula, and what is also the norm in terms of non-formal education, which is more in terms of different types of apprenticeship, which includes also Krishi and Goraksha. Krishi and Goraksha is something that can be revived when we have a Goshala like we have here, for example. And in Indonesia, where we have a number of communities. One of them is in Bali. It's a smaller community than we have in Sumatra. And the parents, they have some land set aside. Their community is actually in the country, and they have about 20 families who are living together. And part of the land that they have is for agriculture, so they teach their children about the traditional ways of working on the land. So unless we have a clear understanding of what is meant to be the norm in terms of Vedic education on these two levels, because they are quite different. So the more we understand this, then gradually, according to our respective, situations, then we can try to introduce as much as possible. Srila Prabhupada wanted us to actually help establish communities of devotees, families who live together and who actually revive even in wherever, not only in India, in the Western world as well, communities of devotees who will actually endeavor to live what is described in our Shastra as being the ideal. So it means, for example, I very much encourage, and there's an urgent need actually for this to happen. It's happening to some extent, but on a very small scale. There is an urgent need for some of our, I would say, younger families, especially, more so those who have children, to come together to discuss this whole aspect of we call self-sufficient communities, because Vedic culture is largely based on this concept of self-sufficient communities. Villages means self-sufficient communities, and whenever it is possible, groups of families, because it's not possible just by one family, but 3, 4, or 5 families can come together and give some serious consideration to getting some land, whether it's here in America or in India, because most of our congregation are from India. Some of you may still have some land in India, and so some devotees definitely should be giving serious consideration to that. In the meantime, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, to whatever extent we can introduce various aspects once we understand what is the standard in terms of Vedic education. Because modern day education, all of us, I also received modern day education. It prepares us for a specific purpose, which addresses the modern system, which is far from being ideal, isn't it? So naturally, all of this is not so easy to take up. It will take some time to even understand some of the basic principles involved. That's why in this 3-month tour, I've been very much encouraging devotees to read up on this one particular book. I think it's on the book table, speaking about Varnashrama, which in many ways is like Srila Prabhupada's summarized, there it is, Prabhupada's summarized statements on a variety of topics, which includes education, which includes agriculture, which includes cow care, which includes economics, politics, etc., which can help us to begin understand and help us exchange how, in a practical way, to come closer to that ideal. It's just like, all of us, we know that to go back to Goloka Vrindavan, we need to become pure devotees. And we know that it's not an easy thing to become a pure devotee. It's not something that is done overnight. And although the ideal is so far and seemingly practically impossible to reach, still we know that that's the goal, that is the norm, that is where we need to, at that level. In a similar way, there is a norm. A very important point to understand. There's an ideal way which Krishna has demonstrated personally by appearing in Vrindavan, that society is meant, the majority of society, not 100%, but the majority of society is meant to live this particular way. This particular way means based on cows and land. Majority of people, majority of our own devotees. It's not just for other people. Majority of our own devotees, those who are not engaged in frontline preaching, this is meant to be their means of livelihood. If you read the 11th chapter of the 7th canto, 7th canto contains 5 very, very important chapters from 11 to 15, as spoken by Narada Muni, as we read a little earlier, Narada Muni explaining about Mother Surabhi. And in one of those purports, Srila Prabhupada explains how actually the majority of householders are meant to be engaged in such activities for meeting their different necessities of life. Now, I understand we are very, very, very far from that, and it seems practically, how to do this, seems practically impossible. But we should know that this is the norm, and in whatever way, according to our respective situations, the closer we can come to this, or whatever aspect we can introduce, then that is helping things to gradually evolve in that direction. Again, we need to remind ourselves that the present situation in which we find ourselves in, modern day society, and the whole system of modern education, the whole system of occupation for the majority of people, it is uh, it is not based on Shastra, number one, and it is destructive in so many different ways as well. So to come out of that is not at all easy, but if we learn, the more we learn about it, the more we associate with like-minded individuals, and we do have devotees, we do have communities who are making advancement to different degrees in actually making this happen. So I do recommend and encourage devotees to open communication with such devotees, to visit such communities possibly, and this will help things move along, I would say, in the right direction.
Any more questions?
Maharaj, you gave a reference yesterday from the scriptures about the golden age. Could you just quote that, the verses?
You want the reference?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have it offhand, but we can get it for you. The reference in what we were discussing about the 10,000 year period. Yes.
Oh, Anand.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for inspiring here in Bay Area. Like I remember the first time you came, and it was your dream to have a Goshala here in Bay Area, which is the hub of modern education and modern technology. And that I can see your dream became successful because of your blessings and inspiration always coming almost every year, and guiding Shri Krishna Purushottam Prabhu, and how he took it so wholeheartedly and it manifested by your blessings and inspiration. So I would like to thank you so much for that. Otherwise, it was never unthinkable for all of us. So please keep coming and inspiring us.
Thank you. It is all Govinda's blessing. I mean, the original Govinda. Thank you.
Any more questions? Comment? Okay. Maharaj, I know we are getting for 3 minutes kirtan and then we'll go on answer.
Okay.
Okay.
3.5 minutes. Short your time. Okay. Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Radha Ramana Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hare
His Holiness Bhakti Raghava Maharaj ki, Harinam Sankirtan ki. So Maharaj, I was talking to a devotee in Hyderabad. So Maharaj have cows in North America. There are 25 gear cows. So for that Maharaj I have to come back again. And also Maharaj in Sharanagati, we have
Four gear cows.
4 gear cows in Sharanagati. And the cow name is Surabhi, and she have a daughter named Mohini. So yeah, this is as as I was mentioning, Maharaj is with his inspiration only. This Goshala is started. Without Maharaj complete meditation, and as Ananda Mata said, his blessings, it won't be possible. And because he's always thinking about Srila Prabhupada and how to establish this 50% of Daiva Varnashrama. So cows are the center of Daiva Varnashrama. Because of Maharaj, we are able to thinking about the opulence, right? So once I can feel my personal experience when you take that ahimsa yogurt and also ahimsa milk, that opulence is without comparing with anything else because the Gomata is so loving and that milk coming from them and it is nectarian. So I would encourage everybody just do little Goseva and then you can feel that experience. And as I said, Maharaj, because of you only, we are able to have this Goshala. And one more time, so that Maharaj will come back again here. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! So now we have small announcements. We have books of, I think Prabhuji asked a wonderful question. You can, Bhakta Prabhu. And also we have few announcements. And so this is speaking about Daiva Varnashrama, and even though we have short time, Maharaj can quickly sign it for you and make Vrindavan villages. That is the best book. You can practical implementations how Maharaj did in Indonesia, in the villages. So we have all these books and my spiritual lamentation, Srila Prabhupada, and also Foundation of Education. I think many on the past programs you got it, but if it didn't come to the last programs, this is the last day and 4 o'clock Maharaj leaving in the morning. So yeah, please, I would highly encourage to take these books. And also I would like to thank all the Valimardan Prabhu is my mentor, Ananda Mataji. They are when I got initiated in their home actually. So the name Maharaj gave me because Maharaj came on Purushottam month to ISV first time, and then they have Purushottam at their home. So that's why the name came. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. And also we have volunteers like Nagaraj Prabhu and Advait. He comes every Friday with his friends and pick up the cow and clean the Goshala, and he loves to do it. And Akshay Narsimhan Prabhu every Sunday, and his father also here today. Hare Krishna, welcome. And lot of devotees, Vishwapati Prabhu, Rupali Mataji, and Bharani Mataji, Bhagavati Mataji. All I can name Vishnu Sahasranam. But all wonderful devotees are here, and thank you for blessings and for coming today to our Goshala. Now, kids have some cow products, Maharaj. They want to share, and all kids. You've seen that we have a small shop. In the shop, kids only painted their own shop, and kids only they are selling. Last weekend they sold $400 worth of products, $460. So just they are better than us, better than me at least. So please, so they are already have so many products in their hand. So first is Ramanuja.
So, cow products, very important. Firstly, they're from India. Everything's from India. So, quality guarantee there. And all of the donations you give, they go to this Goshala. We can buy grass with it, we can buy our grain feed, all the stuff that the cows need. And a very important thing, if you look at the cows very carefully, they'll be asking you to buy stuff. So rather than considering it as buying things, consider it as a donation you're giving in exchange for products. Yes. Now,
Hello.
Hare
Hare Krishna. I have all the soaps. So we have many soaps here. We have first the Kalapati Tropical fruit soap. This is a round soap and it's made from everything here is made from Panchagavya. So this comes with 6 different scents, and this one, and then this one is the Panchatattva shea butter one. It comes with one more flavor. This one is the aloe vera lemonade one, and it comes with 8 different flavors. So you can buy a 7-pack if you want. All the prices are listed in the shed, so please visit there if you want to know the prices.
Hare Krishna. We have tooth powder. If you have any problem with your gums, you can just rub it on it. Yeah. And then we also have dupe sticks. So we're currently working on one for the Goshala that we make here. But this one is shipped from India, Kalpati, yeah, but it smells amazing. So this comes with 2 flavors. So yeah.
And lastly, but most importantly, we have shampoo right here, this green bottle. It smells amazing. I am telling you from experience. Everyone will notice. It smells amazing. And secondly, we've got bath shower gel. And it's actually more of a body applicant, not actually for your hair, but still nice. It smells amazing. There's lavender, and then there is the Himalayan flowers. They're amazing. And last, this is for quite a few people, we have henna. So it's for, it's made out of, it's bio hair color, 100% herbal, made out of Panchagavya, cow products, all that natural stuff. And it's very useful, very strong, and pretty useful for all of you who might have gray hairs. It's 100% guaranteed you're going to look like you're 21 again. And that's all. Thank you.
So thank you, kids. As Maharaj said, a formula for millionaire is to have, Maharaj suggested to make. I also have for my phone. I don't know where it is. So this phone, Maharaj also having it. It's called Go Kavach. That means it's a cow dung chip. You can see here, behind the glass. And Maharaj also gave me some chips. So you can just stack it to that one. When you talk on the phone like this, the radiation won't be there. It won't affect. Because I tested, I threw my iPhone into the cow dung, and the signal is no signal at all. So this is proven. You can test it. We have a lot of cow dung if you want. So yeah, it is wonderful. And please take a look at and encourage kids. And we also have Bhakti Prabhu. He's my godbrother visiting from Dallas, Maharaj. He's there from past 1 week. His 2 twins. Maharaj is today their birthday. And Garland is in the your Kutir mother. So but, they can come. The devotees made ahimsa cake for them. Revati and Rohini, both Revati and Rohini. Please come forward and the Maharaj hands, you can cut the cake. Hare Krishna. Please go there and chant.
Somebody can get the love. Yes.
Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bole.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Rohiti. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Say Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Go Mata, Jaya Go Mata, Go Mata, Jaya Go Mata. Jaya Go Mata, Jaya Go Mata, Surabhi Mata, Go Mata, Jaya Go Mata, Jaya Go Mata, Surabhi Mata, Go Mata. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Bole. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya 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 Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jai Jagannath.
Very
Very good.
Sai Mahaprasadam ki.
Jai.
I think it's that.
अपर्णा जी
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
guys 1 minute go back 1 minute go back
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Jaya 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 Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Hariko, 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 Hariko.
Maharaj, his name is Jagannath. So that's from Tirupati.
Mahaprasade Govinde,
Mahaprasade Govinde,
Namo Brahmane Vaishnave,
Namo Brahmane
Sallasvanamo Rajanam, Vishwasme Vajayite, Sharira Vidyaja, Indriya Tarika, Jivetale Sagare, Aramati Jivadi,
Hello, hello.
O Maya Sadhumati, Take Jata Kris Samsare, Krishna Bado Dayama, Bado Dayama, Kori Vare Jivata, Sopasada Niloba, Seyanandikao, Radha Krishna Guru, Viveka Krishna Chitalikai, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जगन्नाथ बलदेव महाप्रसाद की जय, गो माता की जय, तुलसी महारानी की जय, श्रेष्ठ भक्ति राघव स्वामी महाराज की जय, गुरुदेव की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, आज की आनंद की जय।
गौर प्रेमानंदे।
हरि हरि बोल। अक्षय प्रभु, प्रभु विश्व प्रभु, just chant slow bhajan, sing.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody please.
Just
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
I love Vrindavan.
Hare Krishna,
I love Kirtan.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Yes.
Rama
Maharaj
Rama,
must be here.
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
He comes to Goshala. He's high school. Not high school. College. And he's middle school.
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Bol.
Hare Hare, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Maharaj, our North American god brothers and sisters, if you want to take picture with you, just three of us. Yes, sorry. Prabhu, chant. Oh.
Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe,
Maharaj, you not stand up. Okay.
Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe, Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe,
Jai Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda